So how was enterprise architecture seen from an executive level within the company? Have you got sponsorship within
Absolutely,
Fidelity?
absolutely. There is a great support.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I have to admit, great support. There is also people are really educated in architecture. You have people who are coming from different backgrounds and are quite conversant in terms of architecture speak. They know what they talk about, so it helps because basically when you talk about architecture, people now know that okay, there is the business architecture, there is
Yes.
operational architecture, there is the system architecture.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
once people know how to kind of differentiate all those things, it make it very easy to kind of engage cross-functionally. So I think and sponsorship as well. Yes, I think people know the role of architect. So I think in that sense, I would say, the company
Yeah.
is quite.
So do you have a sort of central internal team that are sort of acting as a sort of EA consulting type
Absolutely.
outfit to the rest of the organisation?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They have that both from the IT perspective
Right.
and from the business perspective as well.
Okay.
And we have team like the change team, for example, who are using architecture skill set to actually seed that.
Okay,
that
so
kind
is
of
that more?
mindset around.
Yeah, so is that more like the transformation team?
Absolutely.
And they're
The
driving
transformation
they're
team.
driving
And
programs
they
of
drive-
change
They
across the
drive
company.
program of change,
Yep.
and then they kind of work with architecture to make sure that all those programs are actually well coordinated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So traditionally, then enterprise architecture, I guess, sort of 10, 15 years ago, has been driven by standards, internal standards, and IT driven, and EA really driving. Yeah, you can use that application, but you must use that sort of network protocol or whatever. I guess you're seeing that change then. If it's been more business driven, it's more about operational
Yeah.
processes.
Yeah, you can see that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it's vice versa. It's like the business need to understand more the IT sectors, and the IT people need to actually step up and understand more about the business.
Okay.
So this need for coherence or
Yes.
integrity is really kind of really pushed through by the senior management to make sure that people understand,
Great.
that everything is driven by the business.
Absolutely. And then, I guess for what I'm interested in is how do you communicate the architecture to other stakeholders in the organisation, that aren't necessarily architects?
I think this is where the Erwin tools make a difference,
Okay.
because it's really help people who are completely neophyte in terms of architecture to understand what it means. So let's say, for example, process owners, once you show them where the process fit into the architecture by simple visual artifact through the Erwin tools, automatically they say, okay, now I understand what you mean by architecture. You mean that, okay, where my business is fitting compared to the customers, from the customer front to back.
Yep.
So I think, this tool has allowed us to kind of bring it to a conversation level, and it has helped a lot. Apart from that, the way people get to know it, I think generally it's people who are working in architecture who really know that.
Yes.
And the rest are just working, and then after that they say, okay, whatever you do is belonging to this part of the architecture.
Yeah.
But again, unless you have a tool that can actually bring those things into life in a very simple fashion, it's very difficult for people to actually connect the dot.
So based off that, then I guess you've got a core set of people that use the EA tooling as part of their everyday job.
Absolutely.
And then you've got a set of people that are sort of touching on it occasionally.
Absolutely.
But need to understand the value of it as they touch on the architecture.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And are the majority of those people in the business or on the IT side or both?
Or both.
Okay.
Both. So you got people, data experts, system and application experts, business experts, and then they have their own tool as well.
Yep.
They have their own tooling to, you know, to have the landscape and the catalog of their applications, landscape and catalog of IT systems. The other one has a, you know, other system for the processes. But then you need to bring all those things together so that it makes sense for you know, the senior management team to actually say, okay, now that we have all those nice stuff, what does it mean
Right.
in terms of decisions and things like that?
Yeah.